Okay, this is Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee on the 6th of March, 9:42 in the morning. Our weather started out nice today and then the winds started blowing. We're at 62, high 68, low of 52 tonight. We're going to get partially cloudy in the afternoon, and we're getting wind gusts of like 18 miles an hour. So when the wind blows, it's chilly. Now they said no rain tomorrow. Now they're saying rain again tomorrow, 60% chance. I wonder if we'll see it. And we're going to hit 70 on Saturday and then into the 70s during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then 80 on Friday, 82 on Saturday. The summer's here in a few days. I was talking to my wife. I said, well, I'd say summer's like 85 degrees. And we talked about it. Now, she knows more about this stuff than I do. And she says, no, I would think, summer would be more like 75. And she says, when you get up in the morning and you don't have to put a jacket on in the morning, then you're in summer. But actually, I remember in New York in the summer, you'd wear jackets in the evening and early in the morning. But I'd say summer's here next week. So, harvest summer, wheat, Shavuot. Redemption. Pick up your head. Okay. Today we're going to go through the letter Trump wrote to Hamas, which I found shocking, but I would expect nothing less from Trump from what we've been seeing. And it was quite a letter, and I'm not only going to show it to you, I'll put it up on the screen. I mean, it's just shocking. And then we're going to cover some other news with Zelensky and Trump and Russia, China putting troops into the part of Ukraine occupied by Russia. Russia never did that big attack on Ukraine they were gearing up for yesterday. And we'll go through a bunch of other stuff in the news, and then we're going to go through Zephaniah 2 and 3, and I'm going to show you redemption there. And also you'll see the destruction of Gaza, destruction of Iran and Iraq. You'll enjoy it. Okay, so I'm going to go into the live stream and make sure we got a live stream. And put my posts up and we'll get started. It looks like we got a live stream. And we got a live stream. All right, getting my posts up and we'll get going. And I'll put my email address up. If anybody wants to send in prayer requests or toss requests or such like that, comments. I always like feedback and know how I'm doing here with you guys. All right, let me just go up. There it is. Okay, being a Bible believing site, I'm going to do some praise and we'll get going. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 Get my heater turned up a bit here. All right, so what I'm going to do is just read to you the letter that Donald Trump sent to Hamas, which I think was yesterday. It happened right after he met with several of the released hostages at the Oval Office, and they told him what it was like being a hostage. And I'm sure they begged him to get the other hostages released. Now, Trump is pretty strong in this, since could actually look at it as shocking, but we're going to go through with you. I put it up in my Telegram. I just lost it. I got it. Okay. This is the letter. It's on Trump's letterhead. And I'm going to start reading. Now it starts, it's very funny. It says, Shalom Hamas. And then he says, means hello and goodbye. Do you understand what he's saying there? Goodbye. Okay? You can choose, comma, no, period. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it is over, in capital letters, for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. I am sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning for the leaders, for the leadership. this is the last warning exclamation point for the leaders, for the leadership. Now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. Also to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. See, the hostages told Trump that they were being kept in people's houses. Probably a good 90-95% of these Arabs living in Gaza would kill us. They're not nice, innocent people. Also, to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead, in capital letters. If you hold hostages, you're dead. So he's doing that to get the hostages out of the people's houses. That makes them a lot easier to find than special forces. If Hamas is holding him, they might be able to get a raid and capture him back. I don't know. They might get him back. I don't know. I think it's very doubtful. But if you hold but not if you hold hostages, you are dead. Make a smart decision and release the hostages now, or they will be hell to pay later. Donald Trump, President of the United States of America. That was an official White House statement from the President of the United States. All right. Let's talk. First thing to talk about is what's Hamas's reaction to this going to be? The last thing they'll do is say, okay, Mr. Trump, the hostages are coming back tomorrow, and we're making plans to leave Gaza. Give us a few days to get out of here. That's the most likely thing you're never going to hear. Okay? The chances of them saying that, I would say, is 0. In my mind, never, ever are they going to say that. I give that a 0. And I want to explain why. You see, the scripture says they'll kill you and think they're doing God a favor, referencing what's happening today to us with these terrorists all around us. Muslim terrorists, so that's why they're thinking they're doing their God a favor. Their God's not a God. And if they give in, that's in their minds, they're saying that the God of Israel is stronger than the God of the Muslims. God of Israel is a false God to them. So they're not going to leave Gaza, and they're not going to throw the towel in and give up and give the hostages back. Listen, Trump's not being stupid. He knows without the hostages, here's what happens. Netanyahu tells him, Hamas has to leave right now. You've got 24 hours to get out, or 48, whatever he says. They'll ignore him. Then he drops some of these new MK-84 11,000 bombs that blow a shockwave a mile long and probably a quarter mile or a half mile wide. I don't know how wide it is. That's going to create havoc on them. He'll do it when the civilians are not there. Or he'll tell the civilians, go to the south of Gaza. The lunatics are in the north. Go to the south of Gaza where you're going to die. It's up to you. And then Netanyahu goes back and says, okay, do you want to leave now, or am I going to have to finish the job? I don't care whatever your answer is. You got an hour or 3 hours or something like that, right? He'll do an ultimatum, I think, because they don't respond to ultimatums. And then what happens? Well, then he drops another 10 or 20 of these things and knocks over the buildings and everything else. And that should do it. Then the tanks and the armored Humvees and armored personnel carriers come in and helicopters come in, and we got to play cleanup. The shockwave will probably mess the tunnels up because it puts downward pressure. If it doesn't, I mean, that's just the reality. What do I really think? It'll probably take a week to really demilitarize them. Okay. So when they're dead or demilitarized or out, now Trump thinks he could do his resort in Gaza, which I'll show you Bible prophecy today in Zephaniah 2 and 3, absolutely not the case. But Trump doesn't believe in God, he doesn't fear God, he doesn't believe prophecy. So what is going to happen is they're going to get devastated. I don't see them getting a get-out-of-jail-free card and escaping. God will harden their heart. They're probably thinking Egypt will come to their rescue. I don't know if Egypt will or not. Maybe they think Iran will attack American warships and attack Israel. And they might. And the Houthis in Yemen might do something. Trump's going to wipe out the Houthis. He's not talking about it, but that's because he's planning it and getting it ready to go. So he doesn't want to put them on notice because I think he realizes the futility. They shot another Reaper drone down a couple of days ago again. I think that makes 10 or 12, and these things are $32 million a throw. Trump's not happy about that. There's a law that's been presented to Congress as a bill that says if a country doesn't eradicate and wipe out the terrorist groups that rise up, like the Houthis in Yemen and the Hezbollah in Lebanon, they get no U.S. aid. It'll probably go through. So that'll stop governments that are anti-Israel masquerading by saying, oh, we got these terrorists and they're too tough for us. Well, they're too tough for you. America's out. We're not ready to give you any more money or aid or assistance. Because they're basically in unison with the terrorist groups. Basically, Hamas got, 2 or 3 options here. One is they could ignore the letter and not respond to it, which is likely. 2, they'll rebuke the letter and tell Trump his threats are worthless. That's very likely. 3, they'll tell Trump, okay, we'll comply. That, I would say, is got, 1% chance. Because anything can happen in end times, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Now, of course, Trump said it and Netanyahu got to do it. Trump's going to make sure Netanyahu does it. The Pentagon says, what do you need? What do you need? We'll fly it right over. And the generals make up the shopping list, and then it shows up a day, 2, 3, whatever, later on cargo planes. And that's that. But I think it's already in place. Is Russia going to do anything about it? No. China? No. North Korea, no. Venezuela, no. No. The only possible players to do something would be Iraq, the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iraq, I said, and HTS in Syria, King of Jordan, and Iran. I'm not really thinking that anybody's really coming to help them. I don't think they want to cross net. I don't think they want to cross Trump right now. Trump's on a tear, and they're not real interested in, dealing with this. Now, when you read into this, you got to understand that these groups that are friendly with Hamas, that were in Iraq and Syria, which to a good extent, they were Hezbollah and they were Hamas and they were Iranian-backed militias. And they attacked the United States bases like 100 times during the course of this war. And Trump's generals have made him extremely well aware of this fact. So Trump is not too sympathetic. And the Houthis, who are friends with Hamas and were hitting the ships and everything to support Hamas, have attacked American warships, and they had several hits on them, taken down 10 or 12 of their drones, tried to hit American warships many times, and attacked many merchant marine vessels that were owned by other countries and flagged in other countries. So I'm not so sure Trump is interested in playing footsie with these guys because he knows they'll just rise up again. So when something goes down in Gaza, they're going to attack. How will they attack? Well, there's always a chance they'll roll an army through Saudi Arabia or something, or come up through Egypt, I don't know, but standard attack is drones and missiles. See, Iran and Russia can freely fly drones and missiles into the Houthis. They just land in Yemen. There's no restrictions against them landing and unloading weapons. So all Trump has to do is wait for Gaza to go down, and then the Houthis will attack, and he'll tell Netanyahu that this one's on me, or let's go do it together, and he'll get the UAE into it, and that's it. He may do some lightweight bombing to get them to stop, and if they keep going, it'll escalate, and he'll just play wipeout. Okay, so today's Thursday, so I would think by Sunday we'll get a position on this, and next week we'll attack them. You see, if they give all the hostages back, and that's what Trump is insisting on now. He kept telling Netanyahu to do it, and Netanyahu didn't do it. And now Trump's saying this is ridiculous. So if they give the hostages back and have no more hostages, the next thing is you guys got to leave. If you don't leave, we're going to kill you. Same threat. Okay? they don't have any bargaining power without the hostages. Now, is Egypt going to enter into Gaza with Trump in a state of mind like this? It's end times, very likely. Trump would normally be slow to attack Egypt, but if Egypt decides to interfere and move their army into Gaza, Trump's going to pop his cork and it's all bets are off. Of course, they're going against him. This is definitely going to push us down the road at very fast speed towards Zechariah 12. Very, very fast. Very fast. So there's not much to talk about more than that. Trump was trying to get the civilians to approach the Israeli military and turn the hostages over. To scare them to do that, but they might, but I think they'd be more inclined to go to Hamas and say, hey, take the hostages back. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to get killed, I'm a civilian, and that kind of thing. And they'll take them back, I think. I don't know why they wouldn't. I think they would take them back. Okay? So, I don't know what more I could say about this. This is it. I mean, we hit the end of the line for Hamas and them. Okay. So, let me go in the chat. You could ask questions if you like. Why would knuckleheads come in here and post salami? New Zealand, okay. All right. These kids that, children that come in here and post nasty messages remind me of, kids that just call somebody up on the phone and start cussing at them, and then hang up. It's that kind of thing. I think a lot of them are probably 12 years old, 13, 14. Yeah. Who else would get pleasure out of something like that? It's so silly. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Is it possible that they would return the hostages? I'd say it's a thin chance of that. See, if they submit to Trump, that means they lost the war and their God is weaker than the God of Israel. If they leave Gaza, they lost the war and their God is weaker than the God of Israel. They're not going to do that. It's like trying to get people to give up on the pre-trib rapture. They won't do it. All right, a few toss and prayer requests here. We have a toss request for G B, girl, boy. Toss for GB, girl, boy. Toss request. Toss request for BS. Bravo Sierra. Toss request for BS. Bravo Sierra. BS toss. Pray for MF. Mike Foxtrot MF. Mike Foxtrot MF. Pray for peace, joy, rest, and calm. And do spiritual warfare against spells, enchantments, and witchcraft directed to MF. So MF, pray for peace, joy, rest, and calm, and direct some spiritual warfare against spells, enchantments, witchcraft, and sorcery against MF. JL, Juliet Lima, JL, Juliet Lima, JL. Pray for this person to be more mobile in terms of getting around. Apparently this person has some physical handicaps and can't get around much, so that prayer request is for JL, Jack Lima, to be more mobile. Okay. Mobile is like a medical term that they can like locomote, get around. What Trump is doing is kind of like what happened at the end of World War II. Towards the end, what America did to the Nazis, like blowing them up with aerial bombs, which an MK-84 is, in Hamburg and Dresden, and punishing them. And it's also a lot like what happened to the Japanese in World War II, because they were doing some horrific things to captured POWs, taking them on death marches. I think it was Bataan or something, making them march, and if they couldn't walk, they shot them or bayoneted them. I don't remember. And being very cruel to them. And they, after the war, they went after them too. It's like that, trying to set an example to the world also. Basically, Hamas and the Gazan population at large is basically, I would say they're on the endangered species list. They're about to be extinct. And I believe, and I'll show you the prophecies that's going to happen. So China's going to send troops to Ukraine, in the Russian occupied areas in East Ukraine. And I don't know how many, or, we'll have to wait. Zelensky and Trump deal is falling apart again, and Zelensky was saying Trump was lying about things he said about Zelensky, saying, "Oh, we want to do the peace deal and all this stuff." So it's not happening. I understand the point of contention is security guarantees. Trump has no intention of doing that. Trump is pulling troops, weapons, intelligence information is now restricted. He's pulling weapons and troops out of the EU. Trump realizes America's at risk and needs troops at home. I don't know how many he'll pull. Maybe 30, 40,000 if there are that many. I know Rammstein probably has about 30,000. He's talking about pulling 20,000 out. I don't know how many he's going to pull. I don't even know where they all are. It's putting the EU on the spot. Trump doesn't want the war. Trump's not stupid. He knows that if he's going to get into a war against Putin, Putin will probably launch missiles at his big real estate projects, golf clubs, resorts, and so forth in Latin America. Okay. So Trump's pulling the troops, I should say, out of Europe, and he's going to probably bring them back to America to protect America. He may deploy into the Middle East if he sees that getting hot. That's a quick deployment. I'm not sure what he's going to do with them, but he's trying to tell the European Union and NATO, look, you got a problem with Ukraine. I don't got a problem with Ukraine. You got a problem with Ukraine. Okay? Biden was the village idiot, and he did stupid things, provoking Russia and all that. I don't want to provoke Russia. I'm not out on the warpath now. I don't want to have a fight with Russia. You got a problem with Ukraine. Deal with your problem. Don't drag me into it. Now, is that going to heighten tensions with the European Union and Russia? Yeah. Is that going to affect the tariff war with the European Union that's on the way? Yeah. Is it getting more and more likely that Trump will leave NATO? Yeah. He can't leave the European Union because he's not in it. America's good buddy and ally is Great Britain, and they're not in the European Union either. They're in NATO. It looks like he's going to go full isolationist. I don't see signs of the European Union backing off with Russia. They're scared badly that Russia's going to go on the warpath in the European Union. Now, Trump's thinking, if Russia goes on the warpath in Europe and I don't do anything, I just sit back, Russia's going to be destroyed or so busted up it won't be a threat for many years to come. So my best bet is just to kick back and watch. That's what Trump is doing. I think Trump is very well aware of his position, and that's not wanting to get dragged into a big war in Europe with Russia, etc. China is sending a signal now by putting troops in Ukraine that they're going to help Russia. And this is reinforcing Trump to say, stop. I'm not doing this war with Europe. Trump has what's called generational wealth. I would say once you get up to $300, $400, $500 million, you got generational wealth. In other words, you could have your yachts and your mansions, your jets, and still have massive fortune to pass on to your heirs because they also get your boats and your jets and your mansions, you know. And Trump's up in the billions, so he's definitely got generational wealth and he's got assets around the world. He doesn't want to see that destroyed. He wants his fiefdom, his little kingdom, his dominion. And if America gets into war with Russia, obviously it'll be with China, it'll be with Iran, it'll be with North Korea, Venezuela, Belarus, Cuba. Trump's saying, what do I need this for? I can go back and just rebuild America. And when I get rid of the IRS and then the Federal Reserve and got the gold in Fort Knox and I put a new digital currency out there backed by gold, we'll have the dominant dollar and we'll all be rich and prosperous. And if Europe wants to go knock their lights out and kill each other, you know, go ahead. You know? He's all for America, all for isolationists, but he is helping Israel. You see, America is responsible for the problem with Hamas because there were guarantees on that, okay, when we gave it back. So they got to help. Or they lose face as a reliable ally because they back out of deals. So nobody would make a deal with them. They'd just say you're a liar. Okay. So you got to understand, we don't know how many troops China's going to send to Ukraine. It might be 1,500. If it's tokenism, it might be 20, 30,000. I think he might match the figure that Europe is sending. I'm going to be a little slow to imagine Egypt busting into Gaza now that Trump's getting so animated about it. But it is in times, and you never know. And these nutbags in Egypt might say they want to do it. I don't know. Not sure on that. I don't. I'm not expecting it. Just not expecting it. So let's go to Zephaniah. Zephaniah 1 is predominantly about Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 38, 39. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in there because we got plenty of time down the road to deal with it. I'd rather deal with the things that are coming up in our face right now than things that are going to happen way down the road. Zephaniah 2:1 reads like this: Gather yourselves together, you, yea, gather together, O heathen, or heathen nation maybe, not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass, as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Jehovah come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. The day of the Lord's anger is probably Gog and Magog. So he's warning them about that before it happens. Okay? So this could be an era when the churchianity publishing houses make the Bible, they themselves, not God, make chapter breaks and chapters and change spelling and stuff like that, you know? So I think this is left over from Zephaniah 1, and I think Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 3 should have been in 1. So you got to bear in mind that they do the chapter breaks and they do the verses where in the actual original text it was just one continuous scroll. So we'll go to verse 3. Seek you Jehovah, all you meek of the earth. Well, it says Haaretz, so it could be the land mentioning Israel, okay? Which have wrought his judgment, seek righteousness, seek meekness, it may be you shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Oh, this could be going back also to the, it could be the day of vengeance, or it could be the great day of the Lord. This could be today, though. Let's read verse 4. Now we know definitively it's for us, okay, today. For Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon. Now, Ashkelon, we have a city in Israel, Ashkelon, at the north of Gaza. From my digging into history, inside the Gaza Strip was a city called Ashkelon. So it likely may have been the case in the old days. The Gaza Strip went up north enough to cover Ashkelon. Okay? So the focal point here is North Gaza, I would assume. Maybe we just named the city Ashkelon and it wasn't the real location, and the real location is inside what's called Gaza today. Don't know. But you're looking at northern Gaza, okay? So for Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon a desolation. They may drive out Ashdod. That's also, again, right there, the northern part where up at the northern part of Gaza. Ashdod's there too. They shall drive out Ashdod at the noonday. Now, let's check this at the noonday word, okay? It's 6672, and it's SAR. Let's see how Strong's interprets this word. A light, dual, double light. Could be noon, middle noonday, window. Let's see which one is a better fit. It says they shall drive out 1, 2, 3, 4 words for one Hebrew word. 644. Drive out. Okay. Drive out Ashdod. And it says at the noonday, 4 words for one word, which is noon. So it's saying drive out Ashdod noon. That's odd. And Ekron shall be rooted up. Well, so I don't. It's saying noon, so I guess at noon it's gonna happen. Uh, on one day. I mean, I don't know another way to interpret this. Do you? I don't. Woe unto the inhabitants of the seacoast. That's Gaza. The nation of the Cherethites. You ever hear people walk around get an argument? You Cherethite, you! I never did. It's a word for that means executioner. Bodyguard execution is going back to King David. So executioner is what I think we should refer to it as. And that's very fitting, isn't it? What they did to us on October 7th, killing hostages, stuff like that. The word of Jehovah is against you, O Canaan. That's them. The land of the Philistines. Bingo! I will even destroy thee. Okay, now it says, I will even destroy. 4 words. The word in Hebrew is abad, 1 word. And it could be construed as destroy. Let's see what Strong's does with it. No. It's wander away, lose oneself. By implication, it's to perish, destroy, break and destroy, not escape. Well, we get the general idea, right? So, but it doesn't say I will even destroy you. It basically is saying something. The Haaretz, it says the Philistines, which is Pelshti, which is a word for immigrant, or it's the Palestinians. It's a word for Palestinians. And then it says destroy, I guess, that there shall be no inhabitant. So let me check. It says low. That's not what it says. It's saying none from. Yeah, they did an okay job. They actually none from, and then you got to add the word inhabit in, which is Yeshav. Oh, chef. Wait. What is this word? Hold up. It means sit. Chef po, sit here. So it means sit. Okay, so they got it okay. And the seacoast, there we're back to Gaza, shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds. Our shepherds. Not the rich people from Monaco that want to take a vacation. It's us. The seacoast shall be dwellings. It's on the Mediterranean and the South Mediterranean. You got a nice cottage by the beach. You get up in the morning. You go out on your deck. You have your orange juice, your eggs, your coffee, whatever you want, right? And the ocean breeze is blowing at you, right? Then you take a nice constitutional walk with or without a dog up and down the beach by the waves, maybe even walking in the waves up to your ankles or something, and come back and have your breakfast and start your day. You can sit outside and look at the stars and listen to the waves. Sleep with your windows open and have the delicious Mediterranean breezes with the ocean smell, which is not disgusting at all. Blow, it's nice, it's pleasant. Blow into your room. When I went on cruises, I always liked taking naps in the afternoon with the patio. I used to get a lot of balcony rooms or suites which had a balcony and I'd leave the door open. You've had to find ways to wedge the door open so the air conditioner would stay on because you had to trick it because they had different ways. When you opened up the patio door, the air conditioner would go off. You had to monkey around with it, but so you'd have the sea air coming in and you'd have the air conditioner at the same time. It was great to take a nap, after you hit the buffet and gorged yourself. I listened to some people talking about they took a cruise and they're carnivores. They just eat, animal products, meat, cheese, cream, and they were really, eggs. And they were really having a good time on the cruise because you can go to the buffets, which are excellent, by the way. And they got multiple kinds of meat there. They got, prime rib. Sometimes you get steaks. You can generally get hamburgers. You can get, there's all kinds of meat there. There's no shortage, right? So in the morning, you could get some different kinds of meat, bacon, which most wouldn't eat of us, and although anyway, they have other meats too. You can get eggs for sure, all you want. You can go to the guy and have him make you an omelet with 6 eggs and put cheese in it. I'm trying to remember if they had other kinds of meat in the morning. I believe they did, but I can't focus on what it was because I never used to eat the meat in the morning. What I would do is I would have either generally just eggs or an omelet. Scrambled eggs are usually in a tray, or you could ask the guy to knock you off an omelet, and I would get some vegetables in the omelet, and then I used to love getting a heated bagel and put cream cheese and salmon. That's it, salmon. You could eat all the fish you want. So you could eat all the fish you want too. So I get the salmon and I put the cream cheese on it and onions and sometimes chives. It might have been something else. But that would be my mainstay. I would do an exercise walk before breakfast on the track or go to the gym, depending on what I felt like. And then I would go get my nice big breakfast. And then after the big breakfast, it was jacuzzi time. Unless we were at a port. If we're at a port, then I would probably go into the dining room and get some type of egg dish. They had eggs with hollandaise sauce and things like that, eggs with spinach and that kind of thing. And I'd usually have some bread and rolls, bagels, and maybe some fresh fruit, and then get out of there and go to the port. But anyway, so they like going there because there's all different kinds of meat and fish to eat all the time. It's pretty common to find fresh salmon in the cruise ship, and you could also tuna, I think, is around in the morning and lunchtime, and you could get into sardines too. They'll have, but you don't want the oil; you want it in water. And shrimp, it's usually there if you eat shrimp, and then they have They have more real fish, you know, like with the skin and the tail and the head, that kind of fish, you know. Different kinds of white fish, depending on what the season is, where they are and stuff. You got that. So you see lamb chops pop up on the cruises. Um, Lots of different kinds of meat. Pastrami pops up, corned beef pops up, all this stuff, you know. Salami, hard salami that doesn't have the additives in it, that has the pieces of fat in it. I guess, well, if it doesn't have sugar and stuff, that'd be fine. Turkey pops up, chicken pops up, Cornish game hens will sometimes pop up, duck pops up, turkey pops up. Uh, you could go to the sushi. They usually have sushi at the buffet. Pick up all the sushi you want and just eat the fish off it. And they also have sashimi, which is just fish, raw fish. So you can grab the sashimi. So they were really enthralled with eating the buffet on the ship. Okay. So it says, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines, I will destroy thee, that there shall be nobody left there, no inhabitant sitting there. And we're right there. This is Zephaniah with a PH, 2 verse 5. I mean, you know, are we not right there? Verse 6, and the seacoast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds for flocks. I guess that's a great place to raise sheep. They're right by the water. They're probably very happy. And the coast shall be for who? For the casinos of the king of Babylon? No. And I made that up. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. And that's who's in Israel right now. They shall, the 10 tribes aren't back yet. So this looks like it's coming down pre-redemption, like next week or this week. Can you dig it? They shall feed thereupon in the houses of Ashkelon. They shall lie down in the evening, for Jehovah Elohim shall visit them and turn away their captivity. See how close we at? We at close, man. Okay. I have heard the reproach of Moab. That's Jordan, central and south Jordan, not northern. And the reviling of the children of Ammon. That's the capital of Jordan. That's North Jordan. Jordan is on the right or the east of Israel. And the reviling of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people, that's us, and magnified themselves against their border. They're on the border now, but I imagine they're going to, because he's threatened to make war with us. I guess the jackass king should be a queen, really. The king of Jordan is probably going to load troops up on a border to try to scare us. This king of Jordan is like one of the dullest pencils in the box, okay? Verse 9, therefore as I live, saith Jehovah of hosts, which means armies, basically, the God of Israel. Yeah, the God of Israel, how about that? You ever hear him say the God of the denominations? No. Surely, you ever hear him say the churches are Israel? No, the true believers are, not the corporate organizations or churches. Those are divisions, seditions in Galatians 5:19-21. It says, those that do such things shall not enter the kingdom of God. Read Galatians 5:19-21. It says seditions, which means divisions. Another word for divisions. It's not a 99% application of a denomination. It's 100%. And then just before that, it says variance, and that is the varying doctrinal statements they have. Pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, pray in tongues, don't pray in tongues, house church, building church, all that divided. You're not going to enter the kingdom of God if you do those things. But a lot of people won't believe it. So they reject knowledge, and Yeshua rejects you. That's the scripture. Okay. Therefore, as I live, saith Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. Even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation, the residue of my people. Let's check that word, residue. Sharit. Remainder residue. Yes, pretty spot on. Okay. The residue of my people. It says residue, then it says which means people. Residue people. Spoil them. That's us. Spoil them means not just conquer them, kill them, loot, pillage, and plunder. I tell you, we'll be fighting, probably in our redemption format of everlasting life, but we'll be fighting. Maybe not, maybe before. Spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. Now, possess means to possess. As in slaves. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of Jehovah of hosts, by saying, if you put the Gazans in Syria, I'll declare war on Israel, which the schmuck queen calling himself a king of Jordan said a few weeks ago. Jehovah will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the land, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the Goyim. The isles, that's probably North, South, Central America, Caribbean. They're not attached to the rest of the earth. They kind of separated. All right. See, it's not going to be a downfall of this Islam. This redemption would be a downfall of Buddhism, Hinduism, Churchianity, Catholicism, Mohammedanism, atheism, Church of Satan, and all the other crazy things they got running around. They must be cave. Mormonism, more than a cave. It won't be anymore. You Ethiopians also, you shall be slain by my sword. And he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria. That's Iran. They're going to get it. And will make Nineveh a desolation. Nineveh is in Iraq, so it's like saying Iran and Iraq get it. Which could be Elam, and we know that's prophesied in Jeremiah 49, plain as day. And will make Nineveh desolation and dry like the wilderness. And flocks shall lay down in the midst of her, all the beasts of the nations, the heathen nations, the Goyim, both the cormorant and the bittern shall lodge in the upper lintels. They're going to be living in the houses that the dead people used to live in. Their voice shall sing in the window. Desolation shall be in the threshold, for he shall uncover the cedar work idols. Now, the people in Ammon actually do submit to Israel, and they prosper. So not all of them are going to get it. That's how I interpret this, because there's other scriptures for this time period that says they, pay homage to Israel and submit to Israel. Okay. Verse 15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly. Now, this seems to be a change of location, maybe, but let's read it carefully. It could be talking about Jordan. It could be, I don't think so. That dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am and there is none beside me. See, this is Isaiah 47, the daughter of Babylon, America. That's where the shift seems to be here. How would she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand. This is Isaiah 47, Jeremiah 50:51, with actual quotes. Now we'll go to Zephaniah 3. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. That's Washington, D.C. The hammer of the whole earth, the great voice. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction. She trusted not Jehovah, she drew not near to her God. Her princes within her are roaring lions. That's the princes, Secretary of Defense, Education, Homeland Security, whatever, her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones. They gnaw not till the morrow. Let me check this out. I think they messed it up. Means spare. They don't spare the bones. Morning. It doesn't say tomorrow, it should say morning. They don't spare the bones morning. So I think they eat the bones until the morning. They chew the bones till the morning. Screwed up translation. Our prophets they got the meaning backwards. It's not of great prophetic importance at all here, but they got it messed up. Her prophets are light and treacherous. Persons, her priests, have polluted the sanctuary. That's probably what we kept talking about with them in the next temple here in Israel. Probably by uncircumcised in heart and flesh going inside the temple. That's what I think they did. They have done violence to the law. Now that should be Torah. Let's check. Yeah, to the Torah. Violence is probably not such a great word. Hummus, that's wrong. It just means wrong. When you eat Pesach, the food has to be, without the leaven and stuff like that. And then hummus is food that is wrong for Pesach. It's stuff that, like, Wonder bread that's got leavened bread, or like Italian bread, leavened bread, so they call that hummus. It's the same in Yiddish as it is in Hebrew, hummus. But uh, kosher Pesach would be food that rabbis created this concept, kosher for Passover, where in Yiddish they say Pesach, which is the same meaning as kosher for Passover. But anyway, it's interesting to me, maybe not you. Okay, verse 5. The just Lord they got this messed up again. It would mean better, lawful, or righteous. I'd say tzaddik. It would be righteous. The righteous Jehovah. In the midst thereof, he will not do lawlessness. Huh? Every morning does he bring his judgment to light. Does it really say morning here? It does. Boker Tov means good morning. It actually Boker morning Tov, good. So they go backwards to English a little bit, bring his judgment to light. He faileth not. No, he does not fail. But the unjust knoweth no shame. They don't. I have cut off the goyim. Their towers are desolate. That's probably their high-rise structures, the buildings, office buildings, condos, apartments. I made their streets waste, that none passeth by their cities. None passes by, period. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none, there's nobody living in their cities anymore. I said, you see, we're on the road to Jeremiah 30, verse 11 also, which is Jeremiah 46, verse 28, also very, very, very similar, practically identical. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instruction, so their dwelling should not be cut off. Howsoever I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings. In other words, they kept resisting any instruction to repent. They didn't want to have any part of that. They're still running around making believe Satan and the demons are gods or something like that. Therefore, or they're just stupid, I don't know. Probably a little of both, maybe. Therefore, wait, or a lot of both. Wait you upon me, saith Jehovah, until the day that I rise up to the prey. That's that day in Zechariah 12, I believe, the day of vengeance. For my determination is to gather the nations, the goyim, the heathen nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, my anger, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth, all the land shall be, which could mean the earth or the land of Israel, or I'm not sure. Let's see what it says. Shall be devoured, and that word would mean to burn up, I think is a better translation. It can mean eat, devour, or burn up. I think the correct use here would be burn up. To pour upon them my. Let's check the word pour. That I think is correct. Shafach. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, well, I'll see what Strong starts with it, but I think pour is Pour is pretty good. Spill for, yeah, I go spill for. For all the lands shall be burned up with fire of my jealousy. Well, there's a lot of fire in Israel, and the nations surrounding us that do the siege get burned up. And the people in Israel have the bad ones in Israel as ashes under their feet in Malachi 4, the first few verses. So this is a nice fit. For then, well, and of course, the two witnesses do a lot of burning up, I guess, or all of it. Not sure. For then will I turn to the people a pure language. Now, it doesn't say the old Hebrew, but I think it is. So just like he scattered our languages just at a blink of an eye, he'll do the same thing and give us the language. So all of a sudden in your head, you're going to have, if this is correct, old biblical Hebrew like Solomon and David and Abraham had. Or it's a different language, but probably the old language. That they may all call upon the name of Jehovah to serve him with one consent. So they may all, let's check that word for all, correct word, call. So this is the fulfillment after the appearing of the sign of the Son of Man in Jeremiah 31, where it says, they shall all know me. They shall not go know that they shall not tell each other know the Lord. They shall all know me from the least to the greatest. Okay? And he puts in their heart the law, makes them have a heart of flesh, and in other places says he puts the law in not just the, it says the inward parts, in other places in their heart, which is pretty much the heart is an inward place. For I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Jehovah to serve him with one consent. They were all in one accord with the apostles' doctrine in Acts 2. That's going to be the case. We're not going to have seditions, denominations, or, which is Apollos and Cephas. We're not going to have that anymore. And we're not going to have variants. We're going to just be in one doctrine, the right doctrine. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that's in East Africa, Northeast Africa, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, that's Israel, shall bring my offering. In that day, that's the Zechariah 12, that day, shall thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me, for then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. Now, haughty is a word that like stuck up, okay, like stuck up. And then it says, because of my holy mountain, but let's break that down. It's kadosh, which means holy. Holiest of holies is kadosh kadashim. Kadashim is the plural, holies. Holy, and then the word for mountain, which is Har, like Har Megiddo is, Mount Megiddo, Megiddo Mountain, whatever. I don't know. Well, that's church talk. That's not real. Okay, so it's Kadosh, so that's a holy mountain. And that mountain's not there anymore. Well, the mountain that was there is not there anymore. It was dug down many, many, many centuries ago by some soldiers. So this new mountain is going to be a holy mountain, and I believe it's just going to pop up. And that's where the temple's going to be. They probably come together, and that's not New Jerusalem. Revelation 21 says there's no temple in New Jerusalem, so it's not that. And I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Jehovah. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, lawlessness, nor speak lies. They shall all know me from the least to the greatest, right? Neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouths. In other words, it's sort of like you speak with forked tongue, the Lone Ranger and Tonto or something like that. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Everlasting life. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. You'll be doing that real soon. Here. Jehovah hath taken away thy judgments. And that's the end of Zechariah 6:1 and 2. He hath cast out thy enemy. Well, we read about that. The king of Israel, even Jehovah. Now this is tricky. This is going to be the glory of God of Israel that's in the next temple. Because the one from the line of David's called the Prince Nagid. This is, what is the word for this? Let's check. I want to make sure we got the right king word. Melech, yeah. I believe this is referencing the glory of God of Israel. It's not Yeshua, because this isn't the second coming. He just appears. The Lord hath taken away, that's Jehovah hath taken away your judgments, he hath cast out the enemy, Melech, Israel, king of Israel. And then it says, Jehovah is in the midst of thee, thou shalt not see evil anymore. Well, see, in the midst means in the middle, that's Jerusalem, where the temple is, and this angel, the glory of God of Israel, which I believe to be Michael, the most powerful angel, has Jehovah's name in him. Exodus 23, verse 20. So why should he not be called Jehovah? He has Jehovah's name in him, so he could receive offerings instead of Jehovah and things like that. So, yeah, so Jehovah would stay up in heaven. So, this is trying to make you think that it's the millennium or something like that. It's not. Satan hates the glory of God of Israel because that's Michael that came and kicked his fanny out of heaven. So he doesn't even want, he doesn't want people to even know about the glory of God of Israel. Then we're in verse 16. In that day, that's your Zechariah 12, that day, it shall be said in Jerusalem, fear thou not, and to Zion, or Zion in English, let not thy hands be slack. Jehovah Elohim in the midst of thee, that again is the glory of God of Israel, Michael, is mighty. He will save, he will rejoice, is mighty. He will save, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love and enjoy over thee with singing. Now, I think this is Jehovah it's talking about now. But then it says, in the midst of thee is mighty. Let's check these words. Korab, among you, midst, mighty. He will yasha you, salvation you. Rejoice over thee with joy. I guess it's the glory of God of Israel rejoicing. I'm sure him and Jehovah are one. They're lined up on everything, and Jehovah will be rejoicing. So, I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, that's getting the yoke off on neck, and I will save her that halted, that's didn't walk right. And gather her that was driven out. Gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. Next great Exodus. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the land, could mean earth. When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Jehovah. Turn back your captivity before your eyes is like you're going to be shocked while it's happening. You're like, huh? Now, I have another little tidbit for you. I want to find this, though. It's in my Telegram. It might take a minute or two to find it, but it's kind of fun. The aircraft carrier had the collision with that merchant ship, and I think maybe now or very recently the repairs were affected on that ship, so now it could go into action. I don't think they took it out of the Middle East. Trump cut all weapons off to Ukraine and stopped sharing intelligence with them. So the strikes on Russia are going to go away because they can't really, I don't think they could conduct them without the help of America. Now, other countries in Europe may try to help them, but I don't know if they got the ability. Panama president says Trump's lying about reclaiming the Panama Canal. Zelensky said Trump was lying about saying he was going to do the treaty again. You know, there's a lot of people that say Trump's lying. Saudi Arabia, Jordan, I mean, it's pretty common. The Greenland people tell the Greenland prime minister, apparently they have a prime minister, told, well, publicly stated, we don't want to be Americans or Danes. They just want free independence. Okay, prayer request. No, we did that already, sorry. Well, I'm not seeing this. Why am I not seeing it? Let me look harder, real quick, not long time. It was a really interesting post, but I don't know where it went. I may thought I put it up on Telegram and it didn't take or something. I don't know. No, not getting it. Let me jump into the chat. Well, what it was is they had pictures of people watching big, huge whales off the coast of Lebanon. I mean, the big things with these huge, big tails that slap down in the water and all that stuff. So I just wanted to tell you that not only will Lebanon have to offer to us, all you true believers in Yeshua, they're going to shortly be here, beaches and ski resorts, lots of beautiful beaches, but we'll also be able to go whale watching. So pretty soon you'll be able to eat your falafel and watch the whales. Oh. Or raise sheep down in Gaza. Such a life. Okay, so that's it for today. So I hope you got something out of this. And so I'm Moshe, my wife is Rivka. Please pray for our peace, safety, protection, healing, our finances. Feel free to demon toss me all you want. And my wife, go ahead. We don't care. Do it. You ever hear any of these other characters on the internet say, go demon toss me all you want? I don't care. No. Ask them if you could demon toss them. You know, there's not one out there that'll say that, is there? And feel free to cancel any witchcraft, sorcery, spells, enchantments aimed, directed, or targeting me or my wife or anything we own, possess, or control, or animals and pets. Feel free to cancel it in the name of Yeshua. Demon toss me 20 times a day. I don't care. All right, no demon. But go find another guy on the internet that talks like that, huh? Like to see that. Okay. Pray for better videos. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for my wife and me and the birds and the dogs, which are all rescues. We'll all be happy, healthy, and whole. And that's about it. And I'm out. And I hope you got something out of this, guys. Basically, a lot of confirmation today, but it was good. And if you want to know what's going on in the Middle East and you want to get the news early on, you might want to subscribe. And I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. It'll take you 2 seconds to do that. 2 seconds. Was this not worth 2 seconds of your time? Okay, thank you. I'm out. If I hit the right button,